Hello class, welcome back. So let's now handle when the user wants to upload images to a sub that they created. So like we declared earlier in our entity, we have two types of images. So the first one is this regular image, which is kind of like a profile image. And then there's the banner image, which in this case for the actual React.js subreddit, they don't have one. But if they did, it would be here. So let's handle the server side of things. So I'm going to close this because I don't need it. And to handle file uploads, we need to handle a thing called a multipart form, which is a special content type that you use to upload files through HTTP. And to handle that, we're going to use a tool called Malta. So open the terminal in the root directory of your server and say npm install Malta and let that install. And now let's install the TS type declarations of Malta. So and say npm install dash uppercase D at types/Malta. Let those install and let's head over to our subs routes. So routes/subs.ts, and here at the top, let's import Malta. So import Malta from Malta. Let's go down. And the way Malta works is it operates like a piece of middleware. So you need to put it before your actual handler. So actually let's create our handler first. So here let's say const upload sub image equals async, and this will take a request as per usual of type request and a response of type response. And we'll do an arrow function. And here let's declare our route. So let's say router.post, and this will be to / name. So the name of the sub / image. And here we'll need both our auth middleware, so the user and auth, because obviously the user needs to be authenticated for them to upload an image. And of course they need to be the owner or the creator of that sub for them to upload an image to that sub, which we will handle in a bit. So here we'll put our handler. So we'll say upload sub image, and now we'll actually create the Malta handler, the Malta middleware. So we'll say const, let's call it upload equals Malta, and then we need to pass it a couple of options. So our files are going to go, so let's create in our root directory a public folder. So this directory will hold all the files that are publicly accessible. And here I'll create a new folder inside of it and call it images. So these are where our images are going to go here, obviously. And let's go to our get ignore and add the public directory there, because the public will be different depending on whether we're on the local server or in production. Because obviously here we're going to be testing and uploading some test images. So let's close this. So here one of the options that we need to provide is called storage. Storage. And for this we're going to use malta.disk storage. And this takes some options as well. So do an object. And here we'll have a destinations or destination. And this will be public/images. So where our files will go to. And here we're going to have another handler called file name. This works kind of like a piece of middleware as well. So it's going to take the request and the file that Malta will create, and then a callback. So let's do that as an arrow function. We just need inside of here to just create a file name, because we don't want to have that file with the same name that it was uploaded with. And for this, actually, I'm going to use the make ID that we created earlier in this series. So I'm going to say const identifier, or actually just name, equals make ID, and make sure to import make ID, of course, from the helpers file. So I'm going to give it a length of 15, and now I'm going to say callback. And why does it keep, because my bad, I named this a different name, so it kept like auto completing with something different. So let's say callback. I'm going to say null because there's no error. But here what we're going to pass, so we generated this name, which is just like something like this, a random string, but we also need to concatenate the extension of the file, which is an image, so either .png or .jpeg, which are the two types that we're going to accept. So what we need to do actually is go up top and import path, which will allow us to get the extension of this file. So let's go back right here. So we'll concatenate this name, so we'll say name plus path.xname, which is like extension name, and we'll pass it our file .original name, which will have the original name with the extension, and then this utility is going to give us whatever the extension is. So let's do actually a comment here. So we'll say example, this will be, I don't know, like some gibberish, some gibberish and plus dot png or something like that. And on top of this storage key, I'm gonna add another option here, and it's called file filter, and it does exactly that. And by the way, this request, we don't need it, so we're just gonna omit it. So with our file filter here, again, this is as well a piece of middleware. So we'll have our request, which we don't need, so I'm just gonna omit it. And we'll have the file, and we'll also have the callback. And actually this will complain because we need some types, maybe. Yeah. So this is multi.file filter callback. So we can give this type like that and import it. And this file, I'm just going to give it any because I don't care about type checking the file. And this is omitted, so that's okay. So now here we'll say, so here we just need to check that the file is an image because, you know, this will receive anything. So we'll say if file dot, and if you do control space, actually it doesn't have a space thing, so we don't know what's inside of it. But I know there's a MIME type key equals image slash JPEG or file dot mime type equals image slash PNG. Then here we'll say callback, and we'll pass null because there's no error. And here for the second is accept file, which is a boolean, and we'll say true. We'll accept this file. Else, if it's something else, then we'll just we're gonna say callback. We're not gonna give any error, but we're gonna say false for the second one so that it doesn't upload the file and it just errors here. So now we can give this upload as a piece of middleware. So here after the auth, we'll say upload. If you do dot, you'll see a couple of options, and I'm gonna select single because we're just gonna accept one file. And we can give it any name in the form. I'm going to call it file and do a comma. So if this is successful, we proceed to upload sub image. So maybe here for now, I'm just going to return res.json and we'll say success is true. So save this. Let's run our server. So npm run server, run that. Okay, request is declared, but value is never read. So I'm just going to omit this for now. Let's open the terminal. Cool. So the server is running. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna go to the collection subs, upload sub image, which would be so slash subs slash the name of a sub. This is already populated with funny, and then slash image. And in the body, we're gonna have a file type. A file field, and we're gonna have a type which we'll get to later. So this type will tell our handler whether this is an image or a banner. And for the file. So write file here, and here in the corner, actually, you need to select this drop down and change it from text to file. And then here you'll find it that it says select files. You can click this, and here I have a couple of images. So I also have this text file. Let's test if this is the validation is working, that it doesn't accept text files. So I'm going to select this and run it. Okay, it's not working. It says success is true. So let's check why that's the case. Okay, I'm going to console log something here. So console log the file itself. And here I'm going to console log as well image type. And here I'm going to console log other type. And let's see what we see in the console. So I'm going to go back and submit this. All right, so we get the file. All right, so the MIME type is text plain. So it's other type. So it is going here, but for some reason it's still being uploaded. Actually, no, it's not being uploaded. Oh, actually, it's not being uploaded. So I need to still give an error for it to actually error. Oh, my bad. All right, so here maybe let's say file and say bad file type, or maybe just say file not an image. It doesn't matter. This error will not be shown in the front end. Okay, what is this? It's not assignable to parameter type null. Oh, okay. So if you give an error, you don't give the accept file argument, because obviously you don't accept the file. Okay, it needs to actually be of type error. So maybe, that's interesting. Callback new error, not an image. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna run this. Okay, what do we get? Cool, we get the error itself thrown back to us. Like I said, in UI, you will never have the chance to try to upload to a sub that you don't own anyway, so we don't have to worry too much about the error message. So I'm gonna remove these console logs. So our filtering is working, and now if we change this, let me save this. if we change this to an actual image, so this clown image, for example, and we upload this, cool, we get success is true. And if we look at our Explorer, we indeed get this image in our images directory. Sweet. This is a bit creepy. Okay, so we got our image and it's got that random name, but obviously now we need to add some check that this user that's uploading this image has the right to upload an image to this sub. They have to be the owner of this sub. So I'm actually gonna write another piece of middleware for this, and this will go before uploading. So we'll call this owns sub, or maybe just own sub. And let's go here before the upload, and we'll say const own sub equals async, and we'll get a request response, and we'll also get a next of type next function, and we'll do our arrow function. So we'll say const user. We know we have a user at this point. Let's give it a type user equals response.locals.user, and let's do a try catch block. So try, let's fetch that sub. So we'll say const sub equals await sub dot find one or fail, and we'll pass it where name is, so it's the parameter, so request.params dot name dot name. Right, so obviously if we don't have this, it's gonna fail. If we do, we need to check that this this user is the same as the user that's on the sub. So we'll say if sub dot username does not equal user dot username, then okay, we get a red squiggly. Well, it does not exist on type sub. Oh, okay, so this exists on the table, but it doesn't exist on the model. So let's go to the or the entity. Let's go to the entity itself. So the sub entity, scroll down. So right here we can say add column and add the username, and this is a string. So save. So now we can access it. So here, so if it's not it's not the owner, we'll say return res.status for actually 403, because the user is logged in, but they're not allowed to operate this action. So this is like unauthorized. So we'll say .json, and we'll have an error, and we'll say unauthorized, or actually the status code itself says unauthorized. So we'll say you don't own this sub. Obviously this error will not be shown anywhere, so it doesn't matter what it is, but I just put it here for debugging. Otherwise, if they're the owner, we'll add the sub to the res locals. So we'll say res.locals.sub equals sub, and we'll say return next. So we proceed to the next piece, the next handler, which will be the upload, the Malta upload middleware. So here we'll say catch error. So if there is any other type of error, we'll just return res.status 500, the usual .json error, something went wrong. All right, so otherwise we proceed to Malta, and then we check, and then we upload the file, and then we proceed to the upload sub image. So let's actually just test these two things. So we're gonna delete this clown and try to upload it again. So right now I'm logged in as John, and I believe, so let's look at the fake data, the Cedar. So here, let's find funny. Yeah, so funny is created by Jane and React.js is created by John. So right now I'm logged in as John. I shouldn't be able to upload to Jane's subreddit. So if I run this, cool. So I get you don't own this sub. And if I now log in as Jane, so the cookie will change to Jane's cookie, and we run this, we indeed get success true, and our file is again uploaded. Cool. So let's now, what we need to do now is, obviously we need to check that whether this type is an image or a banner, and then upload the entity, the record on the database, to this name of this image so that we can retrieve it later. So inside of our handler here in the upload sub image, let's actually do this request thingy again. And we're gonna have access to the type on the request body because of Malta. So we can obtain our sub from the locals. So we'll say const sub equals response.locals.sub. Let's actually cast this, or not cast it, just give it a type sub. And let's do our try catch And here we'll say const type equals request dot body dot type, and we'll check, we'll say if type does not equal image or sorry, and type does not equal banner, then I'm gonna return res.status 400.json error, and we'll say invalid type or invalid. Otherwise, then we need to update the record. So we'll say const urn. We know that this is on the request, so we're gonna have access to the file inside of the request, because that's how Malta does it. It adds it to the request. So even I think it gets some autocomplete. Cool. So you see, you even get some autocomplete for the file. So you have these details on the file. So we need the file name, which is what we created up here, actually up here. So now we need to check if it's the image, we're gonna add it as the image URN inside the record. If it's the banner, we're gonna add it to the banner URN. So we need to check for that. We'll say if type equals image. Obviously, because we did this check, it's gonna be one of them. So if it's image, then we'll say sub.image URN equals URN that we just declared up here. Actually, maybe we could just type it here to just remove this this line. Else, if type equals banner, then sub.banner URN equals request.file.file name. And then after that, let's save. So we'll say await sub.save, and let's return that sub. Actually, we have this line here. Let's move it, and instead of the success true, we're just gonna return the sub. Remove this RE, and if we get an error, we're just gonna return the usual res.status 500.json error, something went wrong. All right, save this. Now we're gonna get the sub as in the response. Let's delete this clown just in case. And now let's upload this clown as the image. So run this. Cool. So we get our response, and in our response, you see that the image URN of this record has changed to this name, which matches exactly this name that was generated. Let's say if we want to now upload the banner, so we'll say banner here, and we'll select a new file. So we want to select this, and then run. Cool. Now that banner URN is populated, and that file is here. Let's check if we give the wrong type. So for example, banners. We run this. We indeed get invalid type, but we get that file uploaded as well. So one workaround around this is that we can, so here where we return this error, so where we check that the file, so the file here at this point has already been uploaded. So what we need to do is if the type is invalid, we just delete that file that was just uploaded. So I'm gonna use fs for this. So we'll say import fs from fs, and where are we? We are right here. So let's say, so if the type is invalid, we'll say fs.unlink sync. And what this does is it just deletes a file from our file system, and we need to delete that file that was just now uploaded. And that will actually be inside of the request.file.path. Actually, let me, just gonna console log the request.file just so that you have an idea what this looks like. So save this. Again, I'm gonna delete everything. Let's run this again. Cool, we get invalid type, but we don't get any upload. So that was uploaded and deleted at the same time. And which, if we check, we see that this is the request.file. It has some metadata, and it has this path, which was the file that we just uploaded. So if actually you're not sure, you can remove this line. And if you run this, that's gonna say, okay, let's run it again. It's gonna say invalid type, but actually I ran it twice. So it uploaded the file. So if we put this line again, of course, it's now gonna upload it and delete it because it's an invalid type. So I'm gonna test on a different one. So I'm gonna log in as John, and I want to upload to the React.js Reddit or subreddit, and I'm gonna upload a new file. So I'm gonna upload this code image. I'm gonna call this image and run this. So it uploads it and adds it as the image URN. Now what I want to do is I want it so that when we upload a new image, it deletes the old one, because right now it doesn't do that. So what we can do is we can, here where we check the type, we can check if this sub already has an image URL, then we delete it. Otherwise, if it has a if it's a banner and it already has a banner URL, then we delete that as well. So I'm going to create a variable here. I'll call it old image URN, and this will be of type string, and it will be just empty at the beginning. And here we'll say if it's an image, if the type is an image, we'll say old image URN equals sub.image URN or empty string. So if this is null or empty, it's just going to stay as an empty string. And let's do the same here, and we'll say old image URN is banner URN or empty string, and here we'll check for it. So we'll say if old image URN does not equal an empty string, then we'll say fs.unlink sync, and we'll pass this old image URN. Save that, and now if we upload, actually even if we upload the same one, our code doesn't know the difference between the same images. So if we upload this, it should generate a new name and upload this and delete the old one, which is this one that ends with pj6. So let's test that. So run this. All right, something went wrong. Let's check what went wrong. Okay, maybe it just didn't start properly. Let's just run it. Okay, it did. We get 500, and okay, let's console log this error to see what's happening. Run this. Let's check the console. Okay, no such file or directory. Oh, okay, so my bad. I was just given the, okay, this is dangerous. I could delete some mission critical stuff. We need to actually give the path itself, because the path is not just the name of the file, it's public/images/ that image. So here where we say unlink, we can do backticks and say public and do // so to escape this backslash, and we do images, and then again double backslash, and we do $ curly braces, and we concatenate this old image URL. So save, and so now what was the latest one? Okay, how do I check the latest one? Actually, let's fetch all the subs. Let's go to, maybe not all the subs, maybe all the posts. Read posts. Okay, let's find one by that says React. Okay, so the current one ends with CS05, so it's this one right here. So now if we upload a new one, this should be deleted. So I'm actually gonna delete all of them except that one because they don't matter. So now if I run this, cool, we get a new one, and the old one, wait, the old one is still there. What's happening? Oh, okay, I know why. Rookie mistake. I was given the old image URL as URN as this one after actually setting it. This order should be like this. I should give it before, because if I set it, obviously I'm getting the new one. Okay, this is a bit messed up because I deleted the one that is actually attached to it. So I'm just gonna test it with the banner one. So let's go banner here, and okay, save this first. And now this is okay. It's just gonna upload it for the first time. Okay, just run it again because it didn't restart. Cool, so we get NATY, and here there's NATY. And now if I upload again, we get HRP. Cool, and NAT1 is gone. And if we upload again, it's gonna get a new file, and that HRP, whatever that thing was, is gone as well. So it's successfully deleting the old image and uploading the new one. Actually, I almost forgot one little thing, is that these images are not actually accessible right now. So we need to go to our server TS. Here where we have our middleware, we need to say app.use, and we'll use express.static, and this will expose a directory, and we'll pass it the public directory, so that exposes this directory. So save and let the server restart. Cool, so now if we, for example, take this banner image and we go to a new tab and we say localhost 5000 / and we just pass that file and run that. Oh, actually no, /images / that file, and run this. Cool, so we get that code image that we just uploaded. So now these images are publicly accessible, and now we can use these URLs on the front end and show these images where we need them. So that's it for image upload. I know it's a bit complex, but hey, we did it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.